Northwest Arkansas does a lot of great things, but there are 3 specific things that really Northwest Arkansas truly does fail at. So let's talk about that. Hey everybody, if you don't know who I am, my name is Phillip Shepard. I'm a local real estate agent located right here in Northwest Arkansas. If you weren't aware, I actually was a real estate broker located in the dumpster fire, the horrible, the no good state of Illinois, the worst. Anyways, I could have moved anywhere I wanted to in America. I could have moved to Asheville, I could have moved to Utah, I could have moved to Colorado, I could have moved to Texas, I could have moved anywhere I wanted to in America. But I chose Northwest Arkansas, and it is by far the best place to live in America, literally by far. If you ever want to talk about why I chose Northwest Arkansas versus anywhere else in America, call me, email me, whatever it is. We can meet up for coffee and talk about, again, why I chose Northwest Arkansas, again, anywhere else in America. Side note, if you are looking to reload to Northwest Arkansas, again, let me know right away. I help so many people every single year move from one state to Northwest Arkansas. My biggest vision, again, is helping as many people move here as possible to, again, the #1 place to live in America. All right, and the first one we need to cover when it comes to failures of Northwest Arkansas is going to be a little bit of a controversial one, which is going to be world-class healthcare. Now, in all fairness, where obviously where things are due, you have a brand new Alice Walton School of Medicine, you have the Whole Health Institute, you have a brand new Walton Hospital coming, you have the obviously Washington Regional, you have obviously universities, you have VA hospitals, you have so many different things going on. I get that, but what is fascinating is just how they need to really catch up to, I would consider, a closer to modern major city. And they are getting there faster than they probably anticipated. They need to be closer to Dallas, meaning in the sense of healthcare. They need to be closer to Minneapolis. They need to be closer to major cities. Now, the actual pieces are in the works. What really is actually more of a concern or failure for is actually more of the state of Arkansas than necessarily Northwest Arkansas. What I mean by that is that if you look about what the healthcare system like is in Arkansas, the state, horse garbage, the worst. But in this little section of Northwest Arkansas, it's actually pretty good, if not great. It by no means is world class. We have brand new cancer research centers being developed. In about 5 to 7 years, it's going to be very close to world class, meaning we're partnering with Cleveland Clinic, we're partnering with Mayo Clinic, we're partnering with some big names, bringing some of the professors, bringing some of the actual obviously physicians down here to work in Northwest Arkansas just overall. So when those things come to pass in 5 to 7 years, obviously I'll change my tone quite a bit. But when it comes to world class, a lot of times people end up having to travel for, and I guess I understand, very specific in things to the Mayo Clinic or other things a little bit farther away. Now, obviously in some fashion, I've heard this before, like people in Houston end up having to travel to Dallas to make sure they get the best healthcare. They have to stay up there for, sometimes months at a time. So, it's not just a Northwest Arkansas problem, it's a other cities, areas as well. But with the amount of attention and money and just overall investment that's happened in Northwest Arkansas the last 5 to 10 years, world-class healthcare is right around the corner. Is it here yet? Not quite. But if you are looking to move here and you're up in age, I've had a lot of people move here that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80s. Not a problem. There are plenty of things that I've had people move here that are in the 50s that have had back surgery right away. So it's very common to happen that healthcare is very good here. But when it comes to very, very specific world-class healthcare, you may need to take a trip up to Mayo. You may need to take a trip down to Dallas. Either way, when it comes to general great healthcare, Northwest Arkansas has it. But what it does not have is that world-class expectation here just quite yet. And the second thing that Northwest Arkansas really does fail at is going to be infrastructure. Now, they have been, I would consider, fine, if not good, when it comes to infrastructure in general. Now, what I mean by that is that if there was such a propulsion for growth, they really need to get ahead of the curve when it came to infrastructure in the area itself. Now, they could have been because it was a weird transition for the governor between the huge growth and this. I'm not 100% sure with ARDOT, whatever, budgetary, I don't know. But regardless, the infrastructure is good, the roads are great, stuff like that. But when it comes to future thinking, when it comes to infrastructure, they're finally making the necessary plans in the last 2 to 3 years to be like, okay, we are growing and we need to really think ahead 15, 20, 30 years on the pipeline. So it'd have been great if they would have done that 15, 20 years ago. That was not the case. So now they are truly thinking ahead when it comes to what is Northwest Arkansas going to look like in 2050, in 2040. What roads need to be placed there? How can we kind of, work with traffic? again, so one of those things that keep in mind, and of course they're in a weird transition right now where it's like, there's a lot of, self-driving cars. There's a lot of more things going on, a lot more AI, a lot more technology. So, there's always those factors as well. But regardless of all those things, one thing that has been true is that they are at the edge. Like it's good and acceptable. Roads are good. Obviously you're driving. Traffic is fine. But it'd be great for them to do this 5-10 years ago to allow the actual area to grow within even faster or better or more, we'll say efficiently, and not have those infrastructure problems as we speak right now. So regardless of all that, that's one way that Northwest Arkansas has kind of dropped the ball a little bit, is just the sheer infrastructure when it came to expectation of people moving here. Whoa. I made something for you. I made something called 3-day itineraries. So maybe you're looking to take a trip down here, maybe you're looking to check out the whole area, checking to see if it's for you, maybe you're just checking out just vacations. I made 3-day itineraries, like literally day by day, restaurant by restaurant, thing by thing, everything when it comes to Northwest Arkansas. So basically you have a full-on plan of what to do when you roll into town. So maybe you're a adventurer, maybe you're a sports person, maybe you're a foodie, maybe you're a sightseer, maybe you have kids, whatever it is. I have 3-day itineraries linked down below for you. So go ahead and download them and use them when you get down here. Also, you might be using things like Realtor.com, Zillow.com, or Redfin. Way too slow. Notifications, way too slow. That's why I made something called Instant Home Updates. Sounds exactly what it is. Literally, it's Instant Home Updates. So enter information below: name, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. Where do you want to move to in Northwest Arkansas? Enter all the information below and make sure to miss a single notification when it comes for home for sale or for rent, all in Northwest Arkansas. Also, every single Friday, I send an email out just talking about all the cool things happening in Northwest Arkansas. What's going on downtown Bentonville? What's going on First Fridays? When is First Thursdays? What's going on in Fayetteville? What new buildings are coming to Springdale? What new things are going on in Rogers? When's the Saturday? There are so many things all the time. Enter your email below. I make sure you get that email every single Friday. But I need you to be aware. I need you to get a little heads up. You will get a little fear of missing out, a little, we'll say FOMO, so to speak. But I promise you will be the most informed person eventually when you make it down to Northwest Arkansas. And the third and final thing that Northwest Arkansas truly has failed at, and I think this is going to be the most obvious one, is public transportation. Now, this was, I would consider, more intentional because of obviously the huge amount of money they've dumped into trail systems and alternative ways of transportation, honestly. So I get that, but they have no intention of ever doing, any sort of public transportation that's at scale whatsoever. No trains, there's buses mostly for the university. There's not intentional. Now, I understand the logic behind it. The problem that they run into is that you can get away with doing public transportation in a large scale city. Dallas, New York, Chicago, etc. Because there's enough people coming on board to not make it a unprofitable business. I get that, or a tax burden at that point if it's public. So what's happened is that there's not enough people to do that, and there's not enough money in the budget to actually afford to build that out, whether it's train or bus or other ways. And we have this looming potential thing in the next 10 years, realistically, or maybe a little longer, of self-driving vehicles that are, we'll say, at scale. So they're thinking, is my assumption, why are we going to spend billions of dollars and take almost a decade to build out a rail system, in theory, or redo some of the roads for buses, to then have cars that drive themselves or buses that drive themselves or whatever, that we don't necessarily need to build out this public transportation system. But instead, what we've done for the last 10 years is build out massive hundreds of miles of bike paths so people can ride their bikes, ride scooters, ride whatever, versus actually building out large infrastructure for public transportation systems. So I get it, I understand it, but when it comes to Northwest Arkansas, no public transportation. I mean, there are like very few buses. Now, what I mean by that is not by schools, of course. Public transportation for schools has been great, obviously, the big yellow buses. But when it comes to actually like just regular people going to work, non-existent. You're driving your car if you have to go anywhere, or riding a pathway, riding your bike to work. So that's become more of the focus, obviously, the last 5-10 years, is making more trail systems, making it more public facing, making it more accessible for businesses. And that's done very well for Northwest Arkansas. Obviously, it's hit so many different awards when it comes to on-trail transportation. But when it comes to public transportation, yeah, not doing so well there. But that's intentional. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, if you haven't been down to Northwest Arkansas quite yet, I made something called the NWA Starter Pack. Sounds like what it is, literally a starter pack full of all the cool things in Northwest Arkansas. It comes with a 120-page guide, literally made by me, of all the things happening in Northwest Arkansas. Population, demographics, schools, all the things you want to know about Northwest Arkansas, all the cool things happening, all the things right here, 120-page guide, comes right to your home. It comes with my 3-day itineraries, it comes with postcards, it comes with stickers. It comes with this handy dandy, you just get this for obvious reasons, the NWA coloring book, the coloring book, all right? This is just a trip and a half. I think I'm in here somewhere. Hold on. Oh, there I am. There I am. Ah. You need this. You want this. I will send this to you, I promise. Anyways, you definitely want the NWA Starter Pack. So it's literally a box shipped right to your home. Right to your home. Enter your name below. Enter your address below. Make sure you get that package shipped to you right away. Box right to your home. Side note, it does come with your first free mountain bike, so that's pretty cool. And I know what you're thinking. It's my favorite folder F word. Free! So enter your information below. Make sure to get the package shipped to you right away. All right, guys, it's the next one.